All right, guys. Happy 4th of July. Today's the 5th. And I've just had a few guys have been asking for an update. I haven't posted anything on YouTube really this year at all. As I've said previously, we moved, so I've just been super busy. I got way more projects than I have time, but I'm standing on top of our new pole building just to kind of give you as best of an aerial shot as I can of our new place. So kind of interesting, through that hole right there, there's the gate down there, and through that opening in the trees, you guys probably can't see this well, but that's where my old house is. We basically just moved across the street. This is a 35-acre old horse farm, and my wife and I always said if we had the opportunity to buy it, we would. And that opportunity presented itself early this year, and so we got the deal done. I will recommend, though, don't try to do a real estate transaction in the middle of a global pandemic and economic shutdown. That was a stressful period back in March, but we got her done nonetheless without any casualties. So with respect to floodable impoundments, I was really pumped because it looked like we got a sweet setup to do one here. So if I pan over here in the opening between the trees, you can see that's low. And furthermore, what I was really excited about before we moved in, when you look at the aerial photos of the property, if I pan over this tree line that's out here, the far tree line that runs along the outside of the fence, there's a ditch. And maybe I'll climb down so we can go see that. And long story short, it just looks like from the aerial photos that there's this lowland, this swamp that's been drained, which would present itself a perfect opportunity to put a plug in there to plug that ditch up, and then this thing would be able to be flooded. And of course, ideally, you put a water control structure there instead, so then you can drain and refill, and you can have your manageable impoundment. Unfortunately, when I got down there, there is a ditch down there, but there's nothing. Water is never running through it. The previous homeowner told me he's never seen water run through it. So, long story short, someone attempted to drain this wetland, but it really never drained. So, if I want to get any significant amount of standing water in there, I'm going to have to do some excavating, which of course is fun. I like doing that, but it costs money, and it's just, it would have been nice if I could have just thrown a water control structure and call it good. So maybe I'll climb down there and shoot a few shots from there as well. All right, so for some perspective, I was standing on top of my big pole building there, looking down this way. We're down by the fence. Here's this huge wetland, and also just for context, you guys probably never saw the front of my old house, but there's a little shot of it. Anyway, here's kind of more what I'm interested in talking about. So you can see, and you guys might have a tougher time seeing this. Let me climb up on the fence. So this is a big wetland out here, and there is some standing water, but it's pretty chock full of just lowland grass and so forth. But over time, I definitely plan on getting an excavator in here and opening this up and creating definitely a duck pond, potentially with management capabilities for flooding and draining and so forth. So I'm just going to walk back in the woods. We'll take a quick look at the ditch that I was referencing, and then I'll sign off. All right, so we're across the fence now, and here's this old ditch that I was referencing that I originally was really excited about. So I'm standing on this area. You can see there's a culvert here. This is just kind of a driveway over the ditch. But long story short, I was hopeful I could just throw a water control structure on this thing and plug it, and then I'd be able to flood out that whole wetland. But again, you can obviously, there's no water coming through here, maybe with the exception in the spring, if there's some massive spring flooding, that might be the only exception. So a little bit bummed that it's not going to be as easy as I thought, but that's the way it goes. Let me give you one other angle. I'm going to walk out here. Again, there's my old house. Let me give you one more shot and then we'll sign off. So here's just one more shot. And you can see it's deer fly season. I'm just getting swarmed right now. But I'll have to get a drone out here. Maybe my sister will let me borrow it and give you some aerial shots. A lot of potential. But I got a lifetime of work ahead of me. What I'm hopeful, if you've been wondering about the big project up north, let me just kind of pan around. You can kind of see the house up there in the building. If we actually get a dry summer, which we haven't had for at least 3 years, I will make the time to get up north to our hunting property. I need to get the water control structures installed in the berm and a couple other things I can do, and then we will be really making some sweet progress there. I'm also curious how my 40 pounds of wild rice is looking. So that's where we're at. I've probably made this thing twice as long as it needs to be, but if you guys have wanted an update, there it is. We'll talk to you later.